I'm back. Well, I'm forward, back, forward. What is time? See, for me, time became flexible. Very flexible back in March 2005. See, I figured out. Well, it didn't make much of it. First, you figure out how to buy the world. Once you figure out how to buy the world, you realize, oh my gosh, my golly, I am my own new good news. And it gets really weird from there because, see, I think when I figured out how to buy the world, I figured out that the whole thing has been intelligently designed. I proved there was a game. Because if a mind could come along with really no money and just vans and buy you all out of yours, well, that's news. I thought that was news. You still don't accept that's news. At least you don't tell me that's the weird thing we get into the game show. But see, back in March, so I started recording myself thinking, my gosh, I remember hearing the guy, he was like, I was a little kid, but he used to say, you were there. And I thought to myself, my God, I'm right here. And everybody around me is there. And there is the history of the universe. And we've never had a future so bright like this. And we've never figured out infinite money. Because when I reinvented your monetary system, well, that just validated my reinvention of your technology. Not doing anything. I think the only thing you guys don't know how to do is pay for my ideas and cancel war off the earth, war on all its forms, war on the battlefields, war in the boardrooms, and most of all, war in the bedrooms. But that's getting behind the story. But the future was mine. But it wasn't mine, because everything I got from you, and your forebears, and their forebears, and all the way back out of the Bibles. And that's where the history of the future of Earth gets freaking biblical. And well, guess what? When you buy the world, your God's explained somehow, right? So why not explain it back to your Bibles? And so I could explain that. I've done it before. I'm not going to explain it again right now. What I want to explain is, well, I said, what if I am who I am? But I didn't even know who I was. I just had an idea. And I figured that idea was bigger than all of us. That idea was God in his very form. If there may be no God, that's weird. But I think there is. And if there's no God that makes all of us gods, we create our own game. Who knows what the fuck's going on? Why don't we find out? That's part of the future. Find out what we don't know. But first, figure out what you really know now and put it in my computer and connect all your heads to a computer, a fountainhead of minds all over the earth, connected in one common purpose and cause. How could we not win if we get all the winners and put them on the same side and have our own competitions? But always the people win. Because my first plan was never to own your world. In fact, that was the freaking word. When I became your nose, I became owned by you assholes. I was owned by God, of course. And now I'm owned by you assholes. Why am I owned by you? Because nothing on your worth is worth more than me. But that doesn't matter. You could say that about any person. But that's not the point. The point is this. If I am history, and I am still making it, Actually, that was my ace of the hole when I declared myself your Antichrist. Now, at the beginning, I was worried. Is there an Antichrist out here? And I could give him my plan, accidentally guide the world, and he buys it and does something wrong with it. But guess what? You can only buy the world through Christ. And I knew that when I flew my camel through the needle's eye. But that's really not the point, but it's a side point. But anyway, the point is this. On July 5th, by July 5th, I announced that is Independence Day for the world. Now, in the beginning, I didn't expect you to immediately respond, but I sort of hoped you would. But you didn't respond for years and years and years. But that's the long story. The short story is, 5 years ago this July, I announced a fantasy reality TV online redemption game show for the ages, a reality show of the reality of the future of us, buying ourselves out of our broken business models and our broken minds and our breaking souls, and saving every wretched human on the planet from the top down. Not saying you guys are wretched. In fact, most of you are good guys, and that's where I could call in your goodness. And, well, I was trying to call that in, and I needed to call in your badness, because when we own the world, we should own our black and white markets, and take those black markets, turn them grey well, they'll never be grey when we own them, because we'll know where they are, but turn them as fast as possible, turn the people to the white, turn them to the light, give them a new light, give them iPhones, and give them infinite brain power. Well, it's not infinite yet. Well, it won't be infinite for a while. In fact, maybe it'll never be infinite. But my plan was to grow our brains together. What if we own our world together? Am I borderline psychotic for asking that? Or is the same psychotic for saying I am when I am who I am? Anyway, that was sort of the story. Well, I said it had to say, what do I do? So I played Antichrist, but I knew I couldn't really be all the way Antichrist, because the only thing Antichrist about me is I didn't want to die on the freaking cross. And I wanted to rise your crosses and cross your stars and prove to you we all work for the same God, whose Jews don't name. And the Christians have an identity crisis about that. A crisis created by man. And the Prophet Muhammad, the last great prophet, possibly until me, said Christ is the Messiah and God has no partners. Simple God. Decode it back to the Bible codes. Decode it back to all. We all work for the same God. And he freaking made Hindus and Buddhists and all the rest, including the Scientologists. And the only thing Ron Hubbard did wrong is a fictional battlefield Earth. I'm glad I never read Ayn Rand's non-fiction, because I owned what I wanted to own in my hand with Atlas Shrugged. But I think I knew I always had a better plan for the world than a strike of minds. What if we didn't strike our minds out like we do? And what if we built them to the stars? Anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it, my story, but that puts me into a bifurcated reality because you may know who I am, and I don't know who I am, and that's very frustrating, but I'll do it. Well, it's better than dying on your freaking crosses. And of course, when I say who I am, There's gonna be a lot of places that wanna blow up and shoot me, right?